Hey Emma, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to have you. Obviously you guys have been to Lash Fest a couple of times. You even came to Toronto, which was really exciting. And I'm just super excited to find out how you ended up in the lash industry, find out more about Pink Fishes and their story.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I mean, like Toronto was so cool. It was probably one of my first, like, abroad sort of trips with pink fishes. But where it all sort of started from is the owners, Annie and Tina. Tina's sort of is she's one of those like godmothers that's like not your godmother, but she kind of is to me. My mum and her mum were like best friends growing up. So they started the business back in 2017. And at the time, it was just in like her garage at home. And I was at university at the time, so I was just sort of coming back on my summer holiday breaks or like reading weeks, and I'd just be in the office. I'd help like pick and pack orders, do like outreach, etc. But at the time, it was like 5 to 10 orders a day. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just starting off. And as I was saying, I was at university, and I actually did a course. So they'd started doing the training. Again, this was just from like Annie's house, like in her front room, like her beauty room at the time. And I did like a straight to Russian volume course. And I found that I actually could earn more money lashing from my university bedroom than at the time. I was like, when I was at uni, I was working at the student union in the bar. So I was doing horrible shifts, like maybe 10 p.m. till 4 in the morning for basically minimum wage. So after I did my course at Pink Fishes, after like working there in the summer, I then started offering it to like all the students. So it was probably cheaper than the like local area, but I just was still making way more money than what I was doing per hour, doing it from just my holes.
Were you super busy? Like I imagine, especially back then, because
Yeah.
I mean, it was big, but it wasn't as big as it is like right now. And yeah, I imagine that having a friend in halls that does lashes.
Yeah. Don't. I've still got like I think it was the reason that I've still got a lot of these friends today. Like I'm going to their weddings and things because like I was probably the only person offering lashes that at least that I knew of. And in university halls and students, they don't want to go far. They don't want to pay loads of money.
Oh,
So to have it with someone, and I'd always do like little deals around, like say it was like a ball that the university was putting on or etc. So then I was kind of like more relatable to the time, like, and I could like advertise around like university based events. So then I guess people like I knew when it would be busy, and as well like I could book them around my lectures, I could book them around studying, I could book them around exams. So it was just like I basically just fell in love with it because it was just easy, and it wasn't just about like the money, but it was also just nice. Like it was a social job where you
yeah.
can actually make friends with these people. But yeah, so then I was doing business and management at university. Like I graduated, I went off and got like other jobs, but then I sort of came back and circled back round to Pink Fishes. Like at the time, like they were growing, they were getting bigger. They wanted to like expand their like marketing department. Um, so yeah, Tina like offered me to come back like full time. And yeah, then I've sort of been here now for nearly 3 years. And we've got like a lovely little team. There's now like me, and then there's Chloe and Hattie as well in marketing. So it's really grown. Like, sorry, got the phones going on. So yeah, then I've been here for like the last 3 years. Coming up to 3 years this year, and we've like I've done so many things with Pink Fishes. We've been to like loads of events, like you say. We've done Lash Fest in Toronto, and we did LashCon last year in America. We've got like now distributors in Ireland, so had the chance to like go over there and speak to those and hold meetings. But it's kind of been like learning on the job, I would say. Like when I joined, like there was a lot less staff and we had a lot less orders, and now like we're growing growing on years, so the job's sort of like expanded as the company has, but
Yeah.
then we've also like employed more people to help with the job. So yeah, it's been like a really good journey for me. I think like I sort of got to learn about lashes and have my own passion for lashes. And then I combined with doing like at university, I already wanted to do business and management and marketing. So it was kind of like the perfect job for me, really. Like I knew about lashes and I knew about marketing. And then what's better than marketing for a lash brand?
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. So I guess if you must have done like nearly every role, I would imagine, in Pink Fishes at some point, because I think when you start off in a startup kind of, or a small business, and it's growing, it is kind of all hands on deck, isn't it? So you came
Yeah.
in as like marketer, what's that, like taking over the social media, like, well, the whole marketing department, or did you start off as something else?
So when I originally was here, like in the sort of 6 weeks holidays and breaks, I was almost just like what I would call an assistant. At the
Yeah.
time, it was literally just like Annie and Tina, the two owners, and I think one other person. Um, so I was just picking, packing, answering phones, answering emails, like sending out like PR, like whatever was needed to be done, I would do, like clean the office, things like that. Um, and then when I rejoined, um, full time. Like I then was more like marketing focused, but as you say, we kind of all hands on deck. Like even this week for National Lash Day, we had a sale, and I'm sending out like basically all day picking orders because it just gets so busy. But the role has sort of been more defined now. Like now that we've progressed, we've got more people in the picking area, more people packing orders, we've got more people doing the training, so then I don't have to get involved as often. But then that also means the marketing's grown and we've got to do more. Like at first we were probably just focusing like on Instagram and like social media, and that was kind of how we defined marketing as such, whereas now it's like we do like email marketing, we're in charge of all the brand ambassadors and the collaborations, like we're on TikTok shop, so we have creators as well doing things on there. We run all the campaigns, like all the sales, we bring out like new products, so we also do that, like research and development. We do packaging, like it's just sort of, we do events, like we've got like professional beauty, like we said, like next week, and we go to way more lash events, and we just get involved more as well with the community, and that's sort of also our job in marketing. Like I've done judging for different like awards, we've gone and done talks at like local colleges and schools to get sort of people down into the lash industry itself. The only side I don't get as involved in is the actual training side, because I'm not a trainer.
Yeah.
Um, I'm quite grateful for. It's just something I don't have to. I can do like when we do sales on training, etc. But I don't. We've got like another person now that like solely does that as their role. So it's quite nice that like our jobs are getting more defined, so we can do them, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. What was it like where energy, I know where, yeah, focus goes, energy flows. And it is
Mm.
so true. Like the more split you are in your brain, like you can only do, like you got 10 things, you're probably going to do 10 things at 10% because you physically
Yeah.
haven't got the capability. So yeah, like you said, the more defined your role gets, the better. So something actually that you just said then, which I don't think people do enough of, companies, brands, trainers, is going into local colleges. Like it's one of the first things that someone's like, oh, I want to like become a trainer, or I'm not seeing the success that I want as a trainer, or even like mentorship and stuff like that. I'm like, go and get yourself in front of the local colleges, because like that's all building that whole night, like no, like and trust factor. And there's nothing better than in person. Obviously I run events, so like I obviously am going to think that, but I just think it gets you where you want to be so much quicker, because it builds that trust. How, like, how do you go about approaching a college? Is it literally like, oh, no, you tell me, how do you go about I'm just gonna
Um, so I know that like Tina and I, we did a talk, I want to say maybe like a year or two ago now, in like a local college. And I think we just actually reached out to them. We looked for colleges that offer some sort of beauty, mainly just because then we know that like the interest is there. And a lot of beauty courses, you either don't learn lash extensions at all, or you might only do classics. Like
yeah,
not a lot do Russians in like actual just college level, which is interesting considering like Russians are probably like more popular, if not at least the same amount of popularity as classics. So then you've got like a market there that like of people that want to get into this industry that just aren't getting the full course, or they're not learning all the things they want. So we found that it was just quite good to contact them, just say what we would be able to offer them as well. So we go in and we talk about like the business, like how we've built it up. We talk about like what your potential earnings are as like a lash technician, and sort of like I guess inspire and try and get people to like want to do
yeah,
lashes and go into this industry as a whole. But yeah, we've just sort of contacted different areas. I think later on in the year as well, we're going to careers fairs.
yeah,
So a lot of the time, like they have like exhibitor stalls and you can just pay to go.
yeah,
um I think like 2 weeks ago, Chloe and I, we went to like a refreshers fair at a university that's like in Essex as well, which is where our headquarters are. Because we find that like going places that are local, where we only offer in-house training, so we're better off targeting the areas around us, because those people don't have to then travel far to come and visit us. So, and they're already interested in beauty, so it's just like it's perfect really.
yeah, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Because I think like at the end of the day, numbers are flashy. Like everyone wants big numbers on their Instagram and their bank, all of that stuff. But when you are a local business, you don't actually need thousands and thousands and thousands of followers to build a localized business, because there's only so many hours that you've got in your day. There's only so many days that you're doing training and things like that. So like going and putting yourself in the places where these local people are is going to be far more valuable than spending tons and tons and tons of time and hours creating content for an audience that is all over the world, that probably are never gonna, well, no one's gonna fly from Australia or America particular, not in the
Yeah,
numbers
they
that you
can
want
find
that you
one
want to
closer.
come, yeah, to come and train. They're gonna find someone closer. And I think it can be overwhelming going online thinking, oh, I want to train in lashes. Or you type that into Google, you type that into Instagram, and you're like, wow, okay, I don't even know where to start.
There's a
Like,
lot.
who's good, who's bad? Yeah. Yeah. So if you've already imprinted that person's brain with pink fishes, like even if it's like 3 years ago, they're gonna think, I'm gonna go to pink fishes because I've met them, I like them, and I know that they're good, kind of thing. I know that
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
valuable. So it is super, super valuable. You've actually said another two things that I really want to cover. I really want to cover because I talk about this a lot. I actually did a training the other day and I brought this up, and I don't know if we've spoken about it before, is becoming a distributor. So there's like this rite of passage that you become a lash tech, you then need to go into training, and you need to go into products. Now, products, and like anything, what you should be doing, you should be passionate about. And there should be a reason behind it other than it's what you think you should be doing. And I think a lot of people are led by, I should be doing this, rather than I love products and science and development and all of that. So I'm a big advocate for like finding a brand that you love that's looking for distributors. I think, in all honesty, do we need another lash brand that is bringing just lashes and glue? Like, the answer is no. We've got amazing people and products. Like, you can build. those businesses and those companies, and you can save yourself a lot of stress and all of that that goes in, and money and time, and find a brand that you love that wants to grow their business outside of their home country. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, so you've now got a distributor in Ireland. Like, what's that process been like for you, finding a distributor? And is it something that you are looking to do more of?
Yeah, I think it's a lot harder than even I realized, or that probably other people realized. Like, the reason we got this distributor is because we'd been at like the trade shows, and I think they'd met us a couple times at like Olympia Beauty, and then we were at some of the other shows, and then they contacted us to say that like they were interested in like bringing on like a new lash brand, but we were competing against other lash brands, so like we almost had to like pitch to them. um, and the reason they went with us is they loved our branding. We already had a lot of brand awareness because we go to these shows and things like that. So I think it's a lot harder because we'd love to expand into like other countries, because at the moment, for people to order from us, for example, like in America, they have to pay like the shipping fees. So it would be good to have a distributor out there, but it's finding like someone that's also going to be passionate about your business and have like logistics wise as well, be able to like store everything. And like even our Irish distributors, like they stock a majority of our line, but they don't have as much as we do. So it is really hard like finding them, and then we have to talk to them. And even now, like it's still, we still learn that we had to change a lot of our products, because they all need like barcoding, they all need all these additional things that like they don't need when we're here. And then when they go out of stock, it's much harder to get it back in stock quickly, because obviously the products still need to come to us first. We need to check them all for like quality. We need to make sure, because at the end of the day, at the distributors, they're not necessarily all professional lash technicians like we are here.
Yeah,
So it's kind of all these additional steps when you have a distributor. So it's a lot harder than I think people realize, like taking on a distributor. And as
yes,
much as it'd be lovely to have like pink fishes and just set them up all over the world, it's like having staff that are willing to go and live in another country potentially for however many years, and get all of our products out there and all of our packaging. And then it's starting from the ground up, because we're very popular in the UK, but it's taken years to build that up in Ireland. Like we go to, now we go to the shows out there as well. So then it's like another form of marketing. We need to go to more events. We need to put out more leaflets, like even our price list. We need to make sure we've got them in euros. Like there's just so many like additional things that come with having like distributors. And it's amazing because you're reaching loads of customers that potentially would have never bought from you because they would have just bought from somewhere like locally. Whereas now we can be local for them. So
yeah,
I definitely think it's worth it, but it's, there's a lot of steps, there's a long process. It was hard to like even get them on board in the first place. It was us against other people. And a lot of the time you can reach out to distributors, but they might already have a lash brand, or they might not want to be, they might not be looking to take on a lash brand at the moment. So finding someone that also loves and is passionate about pink fishes as much as you are
yeah.
is hard.
Tell me about the name, Pink
Oh
Fishes.
gosh. I think every person is like, pink fishes? What? Now, I didn't come up with this, but I've heard the story like a million times by now. It was basically like, obviously Annie and Tina, they were trying to think of a name for the brand. And I think at the time they were considering something like Essex Beauty or Brentwood Lash Suppliers, sort of like really like localizing it. And then the partner of like Tina turned around and sort of said, "Oh, like you need to think bigger. Like, what if you're no longer like just in Essex anymore? Or what if you go like global?" And obviously at the time, you're not thinking that. You're thinking, "Oh, I just want to supply like round here." But he did make a very good point, thank God. Um, and then Annie's favorite colors, like she already knew that she wanted like blue and pink to be like the brand colors. Um, and then the suggestion came out of something like green frogs or something, or like blue frogs, something like that. And like, I think it doesn't scream beauty. So that was shut down. And then they said, what about pink fishes? And like, there's nothing really else that I know personally that's like associated with pink fishes. It's quite random, but it is quite good because even now it's like a very good starting point to talk to people, because they're like, oh, what's pink fishes? And then you can tell them your story. Whereas like sometimes if it's like obvious that it's lash related and if they're not interested, they'll walk away. Whereas because they're like, oh, what do you do? What do you sell? Like, want to know a bit about you. And also it's very versatile because now we do offer brow products. Like
Yeah,
we've expanded from just offering the lash products to offering brow products, and like who knows where it will end up in the future. So it's quite nice that we can sort of expand as like the company expands, like we're not limited by our name, or we're not associated with just like one product.
yeah,
um I mean, at the moment people know us for lashes, but like it doesn't limit us in terms of we can go on and do other things. And obviously we offer training now, and we offer training for brows as well. So yeah, I think overall like it sounds random, and I think a lot of people probably are like, I don't understand, like why is it not just a lash name? But I think it makes us different.
yeah, absolutely. And I can remember the first time I heard of pink fishes, I had I don't know if it was a new, yeah, I think it was a, I'd been someone had recommended me, and she said, oh, I'm quite sensitive, but I can use pink fish's sensitive glue. And I was like, pink
What?
fishes? I have never heard of pink fishes before. This was probably, I don't know, 2018, maybe 2019.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then yeah, so I looked it up, bought the glue, and you guys are just up the road to me. We're not far away. But yeah, I just remember thinking that is so random. But when you actually look at different brands, and I'm probably not even going to be able to name a single one at the moment, but a lot of them are just like like made up names,
Yeah.
aren't they? Like what's, I don't know. I can't, like zero. Oh no, that one does make sense, but it's spelt with an X. Like
Yeah.
it is like it is. I can't think of a single thing now.
Yeah.
That's typical. But yeah, a lot of them are just like make up
Random.
a random name. I mean, what's Nike and Adidas? Like
Yeah.
what is Adidas? Like, okay, it's a trainer, it's a sportswear brand, but it's not actually a word, it's not actually a thing. So like
Yeah, like people don't associate it with necessarily something, but now they do. With
that's
training.
it. Exactly. Whereas pink fishes, I guess it's a bit like naming a child. Like you might think, oh, I wouldn't name my child that, but actually you name them and that's what they become. And you couldn't actually imagine that they would be
Yeah, like, I can't
anything
imagine
else.
like changing it now. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
what we'd be differently. And I do think it's good because like people like once they sort of hear it, they won't forget it.
yeah,
Because like in a group full of like, I mean like there's loads of brands in the industry, but like at least sort of when you hear this one, you might remember it.
yeah.
Like it's different.
It is like, yeah, you think of like, yeah, without like lash base, lash vest, lash con, like all of it, it's all lash just with something
Mhm.
else. So it's like, and especially if you are new to an industry and you don't know the people and the brands, and you're coming into it and you're like, oh, I don't know who should I be buying from? What should I be buying from? And who was that advert that I saw? What lash were they? Like it does get
Yeah.
confusing and
Yeah.
overwhelming. So yeah, I think that it's actually pretty ingenious. Uh,
Yeah, the only thing we have had is we've had a few people thinking we're an aquarium, like, and turn up at our shop, and then they're very disappointed when like our glass isn't filled with like a tank and water; it's lashes. But apart from that, I think like it's done well.
yeah, it makes sense to all of us.
Yeah.
That's so you guys do a lot on TikTok. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. TikTok is a beast that I've not even really. I mean, I go on it and I post every now and again, and then I think, then someone I hear that you need to post 10 times a day, and I think, oh, I haven't
I've
got
got time.
the will for that.
Yeah.
But I know for product-based businesses, for brands, it can be really good and really, really quite lucrative and stuff. Like, what is your experience with TikTok as a brand, and what advice can you give to people?
I think like we've sort of been like learning as it's been developing itself. Like I think TikTok as a social media platform is still almost like a baby, like in its self. Like it's like at first you could only like post like videos and things, whereas like now you've got like TikTok Shop. So that's what we did. We sort of set up our shop and we have both lash tech products and just like regular beauty products. So we have like strip lash lines, magnetic lashes, our PF Pro Enhanced, which are like the 7-day DIY lashes. So we actually initially just uploaded sort of our strip lashes and our beauty products to our TikTok shop. And we were like, oh, this would potentially be like a good way to like focus on this side of the business, because I would say 95% of our business is like lash text
Yeah.
stuff. But then we also do have this other a range of products that people won't necessarily know as much about. So we started off by doing that, and it's quite good because you can do videos and like you can like have it almost at the bottom of the page. So I know like with Instagram you can tag products, but this is so much easier because you can almost just like shop straight on TikTok shop. And I know
Right.
you can go through the shop on Instagram, but when TikTok shop initially started, they offered so many coupons. So customers could get like free shipping, they could get like £5 off when they spend £20. And we wouldn't lose that money. So we'd still get the money for the shipping, we'd still get the full price for the item. The customer still gets it at a discounted rate. But obviously, TikTok were doing that to promote the platform.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's
and I
training
think,
people to buy, isn't it? It's then
yeah,
it's training people to come onto TikTok
to
and use that
TikTok to make their purchases.
as your shopping.
And I remember it went a bit mental one night. Like we have these like on TikTok, I feel like you have to do sometimes different things to what we do on like the other platforms. So like they like mystery buckets and like mystery boxes and dips and things. So we started like introducing those. So we do like a lash tech bag, or a strip, at the time it was a strip lash bag, and you get like 5 dips out of this bucket and we do it live. So we kind of enjoyed it for the interaction we were getting with people, because you're getting it face to like face on a screen. But people could ask questions about everything. Like it didn't just have to be like the strip lashes, it could be like our lash tech stuff or our training. And we could answer questions and like talk people through things. And we were doing all these different lives. And I remember we came in one day and we had like over 1,000 orders on TikTok of like our 99p mystery lashes. And we were like, oh my goodness, what do we do? Like, because when things blow up on TikTok, they blow up, and then you're like, oh my goodness. And I remember we spent like the next couple days like just getting out all these like orders, and we were like running out of stuff. We were like, oh my goodness.
That's on
So
top
yeah,
of
it was
like
crazy.
the normal
Yeah,
orders
like this is not
that
on
you're
our
getting.
normal orders. This is just on TikTok. And even now, like we still are growing it, because we then decided, you know what, we'll add our lash tech products onto TikTok. Um, because obviously, like we said, most of our customers already are like lash tech. So it would help like convert followers and things from other social media to the TikTok. And to be honest, like that is, they now do the best. But it is a hard one, because like we do it in marketing, like the picking and packing department don't do the TikTok orders. So we still need to get it to a point, like it's nowhere near as big as like our online store. And what we find does the best is actually the lives.
Yeah.
um so we started doing like TikTok lives. We were doing them like in the weekdays, and then we found that like it was better in the evenings, like when people were at home. So now what we do, and also then TikTok, as they were getting bigger, started getting rid of their coupons, started getting rid of their deals. So we found that it was working best when we do an evening live when we're running a sale as well, like in general.
Yeah.
So, like for example, we done one earlier this week on Monday for National Lash Day. Like we were running, I think it was like our biggest sale of the year, like 50% off lash trays for literally 24 hours. And that was like online, and we did a TikTok live, and we were live for like, what was it, like 4 to 6 hours? I think it was crazy. And like we
Oh my,
had like
4 to 6
orders.
hours.
Yeah, it is a long job. Like the lives, it's, yeah, because we kind of just go until the orders stop, really. And if they didn't, I think I ended up getting home at like midnight. It was crazy. Like we started at like I got in at 4. We started the live at 6. And I think we ended the live at about 11:30.
Okay, okay, I got to dive into this. What are you doing on a TikTok live for 4 to 6 hours? Literally packing their orders as they come
Yeah,
in.
so
The people are
yeah, so
watching
we
you pack their orders.
so people can order live. We then have like one of us in the background like printing off like the packing list, the shipping label, and picking it from like our storage area. And then someone is on the live, and we sort of do like interactive things. So to encourage people to spend more, we'll be like, oh, if you spend over £30, you get a spin on our wheel. And then we've got like a few different products that you can get on our wheel.
You know what
uh,
this is like? QVC.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I'm on it. I'm like, and you can get this today for a special price. Yeah, where like the products, like we do them, we kind of try and correlate it to when we're doing sales. So then like people can get like really good discounts, like they can ask questions, like, and it's so good because we can showcase like if someone wants to like see like, oh, what's like a nano mister, like then you can get one out, you can show them, and then they'll be like, yeah. And then you find that like you talk about one product, and then all of a sudden you're getting loads of orders for that product. Like
Yeah,
we'll talk about our pre-made glitter spikes, and then all of a sudden you've got like 10 orders for glitter spikes. So
yeah,
like I clearly think it is what you're talking about that people like are then interested in and seeing. And I think like I did the metrics on it, and like 17% of the buyers like on Monday nights live were completely new to us. Like they hadn't bought from us previously, they were like new buyers. So I guess like if we continue to do it, like every time we're getting more people know about us, it's like brand awareness, it's orders, it's followers. And it's also just a great like, I think what I personally struggle with in the marketing is like giving people like an insight into pink fishes, because sometimes I think, oh, people aren't going to want to see me work at my desk for 8 hours straight today on a computer. Whereas like the TikTok live almost gives people that opportunity to like get to know us, like ask any questions they want about the brand, ask any product questions. Like we talk about training, we talk about like our shop, we talk about the events that we're going to. And like we now have almost like regular viewers,
yeah.
like where they're like joining every live, and people can like register beforehand. So yeah, I do enjoy them because I feel like it, you don't get to like speak to customers like so casually. Sometimes it's always like about an order or something. So whereas this, it's quite nice, you can almost say like, we're launching this, and then like we've done I think 2 new product launches in the last like 2 weeks, and they've both sold out on TikTok. Like we've had to take them off because we're like, we're sold out now.
So you said that you don't think that anybody would want to watch you live sitting at your desk now. I have clicked on one of Jamie's lives before.
Yeah.
He is on there for absolutely no reason other than just packing orders and chatting absolute He's even on this live going, oh, I can't believe there's so many of you just here not doing anything.
Like watching me do my day.
Yeah, yeah, like it was just him, just anyone got any questions for me? So like just I would say you'd be amazed at people
How
because
many
actually
people?
like people are nosy. Like they want to see the
Yeah.
inside workings of businesses and of brands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would say after watching that live and being one of those people,
Give it a go.
momentarily.
I think for me, I'm more worried about like, it's like, for example, we might be dealing with like, I don't know, people's like information and things. So then I'm like worried. I'm like, I can't show this, I can't show that, can't do this, can't do that. And then I'm like, oh, this is a new product. Like, should we tell people about it? Am I just spoiling the launch? And I've done that a few times now. Like, I've put things up on the story and I'm like, we've not even launched them yet, have we? Oh, well, like now they know. It's coming. You sort of think, oh dear,
We've got to do it.
it's going to happen at one point. But yeah, you sort of like forget yourself and then you're like, whoa, okay. Whereas at least with the lives, at least I know like I can't mess anything up, hopefully. She
Yeah,
says.
you've got,
But
these are
yeah.
the things I'm talking about today.
Yeah. And that's it. Stick to the
Yeah.
script.
So you said earlier about, you mentioned the word metrics and you mentioned about 17% of your orders. And for anyone that is like seriously serious about growing the business, no matter where in the business, like what business you're in, um, data is so important, and yet it's really, really boring for people to talk about, isn't it? Like it is, like you
Yeah.
say spreadsheets and numbers and stuff like that. But like I
Mm.
always say to people when they're like, how do I go on social media? I'm like, Instagram has everything you need to know about how to grow on Instagram is there smacking you in the face every day. Like all
Yeah.
you need to do is like watch your numbers, look at other people's numbers, and that tells you what works. Yet
Mm.
people they don't want to do that part of it. Like, can you back me up on how important like the data is inside a business and like how you use that to then grow and
Yeah,
to
like
keep working?
I honestly think that data is like one of the hardest things for me personally, because I do find it a bit like it's like a lot of tediousness, but then it's like so helpful because it will sort of stop you from wasting your times on things that don't work. So it will like streamline your efficiency, but it is boring. Like we did, I did like a breakdown of like 2023 and I looked at like metrics for everything. I was like, right, okay, this campaign, it's not just about like the sales, it's like impressions, like how many like of those people were new, like how much did it generate from this product, like the sell through rate. It's just, and like we have obviously like email marketing as well, so like how many people are signing up, how many people are watching, because it is good because like for example with that, like you can see the data from like our emails on our side. We can see like how many people opened the email, like how many people bought from that email, how many people like didn't, etc., or how many of them like then unsubscribed from that email. And then you can like learn things for the next email, like, right, okay, so this worked, like it had a punchy title or it had an easy click to button at the top, so we'll do that again because that generated more sales and more clicks. But this didn't work, so like we won't use these colors that are like obviously a bit maybe glarish or people didn't like, so we'll change it. But it is hard. Like we even this morning we've got like a giveaway launching in a couple of weeks, and we were like debating of what time to post it. And we're like, right, okay, we'll look at when Instagram's recommending, like when we have like the most amount of views, like in a certain, like, because it goes down to like even the time, like it will tell you the time that like they recommend you post it. So of course, like if you're looking at that, it's going to be better than if you're posting at like, I don't know, 10 p.m. on a Saturday when like all your customers are out and busy, or if you're posting at like, if it's telling you Monday at like 12 p.m. like is better, then we'll go with that. So it's definitely really important. It's just difficult, especially as if you're not like a data, like with most businesses, especially small ones, you feel like you are wearing a lot of hats. And like I sometimes feel like I'm a web developer, a data analyst, like as well as all the marketing things. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I track every day, like our sales, our training, like what's going wrong, what's going right, like what did we do this month that worked and what did we do this month that didn't.
Yeah,
And we do a lot of things that like don't work as well. So then
yeah,
it's to make sure that we then potentially either like do them differently or don't do them and don't spend our time and our money doing the things that didn't work for us.
That's it.
So,
Because we can think things are a good idea, can't we? And we can think,
oh yeah,
oh, they'll definitely buy because I've written that as the button for them to click, or that's a really catchy title. But just because we think it's great and it makes sense to us doesn't actually mean that it's going to land with the your audience and or the people, your community, like, and essentially like that's who your business is for, isn't it?
yeah,
It's for them, it's for other people, and they are giving you everything that you need to know. And it is hard, it is boring. Like I did a spreadsheet the other day, and I was by the end of it, I was just like, God, kill me now.
yeah,
But
like it's like tiring.
yeah, it is. But when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, I don't need to be doing that, or what worked from that but didn't work from that. And yeah, it is a boring part of your job, but once you know how to do it, and once you do it, it then does make life easier for you in the long run because it gives you
Yeah, I
everything
think
to know.
yeah, it will stop you like almost like wasting time on things that aren't working for you and giving you like more time to spend on the things that did. And like sometimes it can be really random. Like we found that like we did like a payday glue sale and I think it was like two for £20. And like it was as if no one cared. Like no one wanted it. No one really bought. Like we had a few people like interested, and then what we tried is changing it up and did like the glues for £10, which is kind of the same. Like because the glues would still discounted to the same, but you didn't have to buy two because we were thinking about it. We were like, oh, maybe people didn't want to have to stock up on glue like too much at one time. And then it was crazy. It was so busy, and we like sold out multiple glues, and we were like, okay. But like, if we hadn't looked at like the campaign itself and like looked at how many like code uses it had, how many people looked at the emails, how many people like would
Yeah.
like in the posts, we would have maybe continued doing the same thing that wasn't really working.
And it's taking like the emotion out of it because a lot of people would go, oh well, it's the glue, no one likes my glue, and you can like get really affected, can't you, thinking, well,
Yeah,
like, no one likes the thing, even though you sell glues like day in day out, like
yeah,
it can hurt a little bit, can't it? When you
yeah,
got that rejection thing, you think, well, why? I've put so much work and effort into that, and literally all you've done is say you don't need to buy two glues, you just need to buy one glue, like, and that's it. And that messaging gets is what landed and got you where you wanted to be with the sales. Like, so,
yeah, definitely. But it feels so hurtful when like something that you do then just doesn't pay off. It's like, oh, you spent all this time, all this passion, and you're so like, even like we develop like new products all the time, and there'll be really random ones that like do so well, and I'm like, why? Like how? And then there'll be ones that I've put like my heart and soul into, and like the packaging I've looked at a million times, and then it's like, okay, they're sitting here for a while. Like, what happened?
it's like the real, isn't it? The one that you just did
Mm.
off the cuff that it's like 2 seconds long and took you 5 minutes to make. It's the one that does well, but the really edited one that you've literally poured hours
Right.
into and it just flops and you think, oh,
Oh,
what happened to that one?
it
Okay.
like annoys me so much even to this day. Like we did like a literally a I think it was like a 30-second TikTok, and it was our most watched TikTok for like a year straight. And all it was us throwing pens into a pot. Like it was nothing to do with like lashes or our brand at all. Like we just done it and we were like, oh, like when the trend was like if you throw it in, there's like a and then we were trying to advertise like our sale. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh my goodness, like why? And that was like pinned, and I was like, I need to like get something to replace that, like ASAP. Like I don't want this as my pinned post,
Yeah.
but it's also the one that done the best. So what am I meant to do?
That's it. That's it. Okay, so what's like next for Pink Fishes? What's something that you've got coming up or that you're working on that you're allowed to speak about? Don't spoil anything. What's
This is my
2024 got
problem. You
for?
see, like I spoil things as it is by accident. Like now it's like, what can I tell? Like I know that we've got like we are working on like loads of new products, like all the time. I'm trying to think. Our next one we've got like a limited edition cashmere coming out. Um, so we're excited to do that because at the moment, like we've only sort of ever really done like the silk ones, like all of our ranges are that. Apart from like we've had like other products, but like we're doing, this is a new lash one. We're bringing out Easter eggs for Easter.
It's
Yeah, which is
exciting.
exciting, like for some marketing. I'm trying to think like beyond that, like the bigger things, but it's like I don't know if we're doing them yet, if we're fully committed to them yet. Like, but yeah, I think what's next in terms of like for Pink Fishes, like we just want to work on, we've been to like a lot of events and like going like internationally and stuff, whereas I think this year we're like focusing on like our UK market and sort of just expanding our product range, expanding as well in Ireland. Like we're going back out there in April and we're doing training out there and we're doing like more products and stuff with our distributors. But really I think for me, like in the marketing, we're just sort of focusing on just like trying to improve as well the quality of everything that we do. It's hard to juggle doing, like we do like a podcast, we do blogs, we now want to do YouTube, like so we just kind of want to go back and almost like start from the ground up again and
Yeah.
just improve everything we had. Like I know we spoke about it, like we were speaking about it earlier, but like for our YouTube, we solely used it as a purpose to like upload some videos so that we could then get a link to like show them on our website and things. Whereas like now we actually want to go back and start doing more tutorials and like how to on our product videos and things like that, and just like improve everything that we do already. And sort of things like that, really. Just,
Exciting, really
yeah,
exciting. And I think it's really important to, like you said, go back and refine because you as a business grows, you kind of you start you've got a bit more time on your hands and then you get busy and you get to this point where you need more help and then okay, you feel like you can breathe again. And then you get to the point where you need more help, don't you? And it just like you're just constantly doing that. And so when you get to a point where it's like, okay, like let's go back because we've been really
yeah,
busy and we've just been like keeping our heads above water and doing like now we've got that breathing space. What can we work on? What can we improve? What can we make better? How can we serve our people better? And all of that stuff. And it's not always about the new thing, finding something new to do. It can be and should be what's working and what can we make better? What leaks can we plug and stuff like that.
yeah, no,
Because
for
it should
definite.
be
Like, I think,
boring. Like, and I mean that in the best possible way, as in like it should be really repetitive and you should be doing a lot of the same things that work. Like, yeah, I
yeah,
think we can get very new shiny object syndrome. Like, let's do this and let's do that.
yeah, I think like where we've been like trying to obviously like focus on growth over the last couple years, you almost put like your eggs in lots of different baskets.
Yeah,
Like you're trying to like do every social media platform that there ever is, and like I we've started a few, and I think, oh, I wish we hadn't. Like, what was it? It was Be Real, like you know, that came like
yeah,
was really like that died off pretty quick. Like we stopped that, like because
yeah,
one, it was getting too much to try and remember to post every day at the exact time.
yeah,
But you can't, I feel like you can't do everything, not with like you only have a certain number of hours in the day. Like you can't juggle every single platform and do all the events in the world and do all the email marketing, all the social media posts, all the trends. Like it's hard, like you kind of something has to give.
yeah,
So now we sort of want to spend this year sort of like focusing on like improving everything. And I think as well, once you get used to doing a certain thing, that then becomes a lot easier and it just becomes part of your routine. So if we can get a good routine going, we'll actually be able to pump out more stuff. It's
yeah,
just kind of getting used to it. Like if we haven't done like how to YouTube videos before, then of course it's going to take a longer amount of time to do those first couple of ones, but then
yeah,
it will become almost like autonomous, that like when we bring out a new product, we do a YouTube how to video on it so that we've got it forever going forward.
yeah,
But yeah, and as well with like the new products as well, like I do think over the last couple of years, like we've developed like new products and new packaging. Like I remember when I started, we had like green jade stones like in a plastic bag or whatever, whereas now everything's like blue or pink and
yeah,
everything's like, you know, pink fishes. Like bags that also have like retail hooks, so they're good to go in stores and they're good for distributors. So it's like things like that, that like that
yeah,
everything like needs improving. Like our mailing bags, when I started as well, they were just plain pink mailing bags that you'd buy off Amazon, whereas
yeah,
now we buy them in bulk and they've all got Pinkfish's branding all over them and our return address already put on them and things like that. So it's almost just like going back and trying to just improve everything we have,
yeah,
and everything that's already popular. Like I'm trying to get like new packaging for our current glues because people love them, but like I just want to upgrade them,
yeah,
just want to make them better. Like we don't have to change the formula, but even things like packaging really do sell a product, I believe,
yeah,
like because
definitely.
people
And
buy it for that.
I think that's a really important message actually that you've just put out there about comparison and like starting somewhere. Like budgets aren't massive when you first start, and so it's really easy to I'm going to start a lash brand and then it orders in and you want it to look like the big brand. You want the beautiful
Yeah,
boxes and all the beautiful messaging cards and the packaging, like you want it to be like that. But that's taken a lot of years for that to happen for people, for businesses. They started off with the green jade stone in the clear bag and
yeah,
out the boxes for their products and their glues. It's just like you just said, it's like reinvestment once you've got that. So don't always be like striving. It doesn't have to be perfect right now, and don't
yeah,
compare your journey.
yeah.
Because like you've just said, it takes a minute to get there.
Definitely, and you can't have everything. Like we have only just, and I think like considering we are quite a big brand in the UK, we've only just launched CC Curl. Like we didn't have it.
So,
Yeah, literally only just now, which like to a lot of people feel like a bit strange. Like why has it been so long? But like it's hard when we have like over 1,000 variations of lash
yeah,
trays. Like it's not just a case of like, oh, we just bring in CC Co. It's like, no, we need to think like, are we bringing it in 03s, 05s, like 07s? Are we doing classics? Are we doing flats? Are we doing brown? Are we doing easy fan? Like it
yeah,
then like what about our limited edition trays? Are we going to start offering those in a CC? Like, and before you know it, to just add one curl, you've got to add like another like 100 variations
yeah,
to your product line, and you think, oh my goodness, like have we got the space for that?
yeah,
Like have
yeah,
we like, and then will people stop buying our C and D because like now we've got CC and we've got all this stock of C and D? Like there's a
yeah,
lot to think about, and you can't do everything all
yeah,
in one go. I mean, we'd love to
yeah,
like offer everything all at the start, but you don't have the space, you don't have time. And then even like in marketing, like, it feels like for us we're always like chasing ourselves. Like we do a lot of marketing on the new products we're launching, but then we haven't done marketing on products from like that we launched like 3-4 years ago, and it's like, right, they probably need
a bit of
refreshing. Like they probably need, yeah, like people probably might forget about them if we don't push them enough. But then it's like, if we're bringing out all these new products, like when have we got time to focus on the old ones?
that.
So you definitely can't do everything all at once. Like
No,
it's just not doable. Like as much as you'd want to, you don't have like a limitless supply of money and staff and storage space, and you just kind of, I guess, have got to try and offer what you think people want the most at the time and
definitely.
what you can do.
Definitely, and just and build up from there.
Yeah,
And it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the story that
yeah.
is like pink fishes and stuff. So
And I do love it because it's like, it's even nice seeing like our old strip lashes literally just came in like a little plastic casing, whereas now we've got like an actual pink, it's like a pink fish as the hook and things. So, and it's like, and our limited edition, like we jazz them up a bit more, like they're not just like the plain trays, like we spend more time on the packaging and things. So it is nice seeing like the progression as well, because you sometimes forget when you're here every day, your new standard is like the one that you're currently in, but you forget like the journey you've come from and where it started.
definitely, and you find something in a box somewhere or a photo, and you think,
Yeah,
"Oh my goodness, do you remember?"
yeah, like these ones that we had, and you're like, wow, like it's very different now. Like
Yeah,
the only thing I would say that like we like that I can think of that is almost like stayed the same is our actual lash trays, like our normal lash trays, like from the day dot. I think because when they started the business, they spent like ages trying to like on like perfect the lash tray, that like that is probably the one thing that's like not changed loads
Yeah,
since
yeah,
we launched. I think the only changes I can remember making on them is they now have, you know, like where they've got the silver foily bit so that
yeah,
you can like pick them up rather than the paper.
yeah.
But I think that's the only change like I think I've made to them in the 3 years that I've been here. Like, whereas everything else I think has had like an upgrade or a change or new packaging or new formula or something done to it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. People love them.
That's it. And
So,
I think like it's really personal lashes, like the lashes that you like working with and stuff. So if yeah, suddenly they change and you order them,
yeah,
you might just be a bit like, oh, I don't actually like them, or they're not
yeah,
fun anymore. So yeah, definitely if
definitely.
it's not broke, don't fix it.
I
Emma,
think it
where
is.
can everyone find you? Where can everyone find
So
you?
we've got obviously online, it's pinkfishes.com. You can shop obviously all our products. And then we've got pinkfishestraining.com where you can have a look at all the courses that we offer in house. And we do have like e-learning online courses. So for people who have already trained in lashes who want like refreshers, we've got a basics one. And we actually coming soon have a styling one coming out, so for all different lash maps and things like that. So for the people who have already trained but just then want a bit of like extra knowledge, you can go on Spotify and listen to the Pink Fishes podcast. You can search that. Our blogs are on our website. You can also shop on TikTok shop now. That's at Pink Fishes Lash Co on TikTok and on Instagram as well.
Amazing. I will link it all in the show notes
Thank you
for
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you for joining me today. Excited to see you in person in September. I'm assuming you're coming in September.
Do you know what? I think I might be, or it might be. We've got like the trainer page, and I think the owner Annie, they're going
Oh,
as well
amazing.
because it's so close to us. Splash
Yeah,
Fest this year, it's like in Essex, just like us. So
yeah.
it would
Literally
be
down the
amazing. Like travel all the way to Canada to come to it, but now if I don't go like the 10-minute journey.
road. Well, excited to have you. You guys are speaking as well, so that's going to be really, really cool. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.